Team Gravity presents Fight Night.
Y'all ready for this?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fight Night Tournament of Champions once again, and with the distinction that this is our first Legacy of the Void event since Legacy came out. And we have some amazing players today here, and man, it's my pleasure to be casting for you guys again. I am Droopy, and I'm joined here by Axel Toss. Welcome back, my friend. Aren't you excited for today's events?
I'm super excited, man. Obviously, most of the people watching know Legacy of the Void has just come out like a week ago, so we're just starting to see a lot of highly competitive matches within the medium. We just had, I think, Shoutcraft was today.
Yep.
Just finished up, so it's pretty exciting. We're starting to see all these exciting strategies in this new game. And for me personally, I've been playing quite a bit of it and having a lot of fun, so I'm excited to watch these guys and hopefully pick up some new strategies.
Yeah, I mean, now that the game is finally out, there's so much to learn as far as, you know, the strategies, like you said, Axel Toss, as well as all the different maps and all the different nuances of how these players are going to, you know, use and abuse. So I'm ready to just dive right in and check out our first two players. We have here BrAvO from Samsung Galaxy, as well as Reality, who is from, I believe...
Also Samsung Galaxy.
Also Samsung Galaxy. Samsung is well represented today.
Right. I think 3 of the 4 today are from Samsung, including Solar, who will be in our next match. Of course, we have 4 players, best of 5s for the first 2 matches, standard single elimination, no extended series, and then finals will be a best of 7 from the winners of both semifinals. And yeah, first up is BrAvO Reality. Terran versus Terran, and I think, personally, from Heart of the Swarm to Legacy of the Void, Terran vs. Terran has like the most room for innovation, perhaps, no pun intended, from the players with their strategies and whatnot. I feel like there's a lot of different directions the players can go. And I was like mostly a Protoss player in Heart of the Swarm, but in Legacy of the Void I've been playing a lot of random. So I'm interested to see what these guys do. Of course, Heart of the Swarm, typically you just see Marine, tank, right? Like that was pretty much the go-to, and you're seeing quite a bit of that in Legacy of the Void, I think, but there's a lot of toys that Terran has to play with, so we'll see if these guys bring out anything interesting.
Absolutely. So we're going to head right into game number 1 now, guys. It's going to happen on Orbital Shipyard, and there's a lot at stake here today, guys. It's a $500 prize pool, and we'll be talking a little bit more about how that's going to be split amongst these 4 amazing players as soon as we get right into it.
Let's do it. First map will be Orbital Shipyard. Also, shout out to everyone watching in the chat. I'm going to be watching that a little bit, so I might be a bit distracted. Hopefully not too much. But I see some people typing already. Hawkeye 59, Poison 28. I don't know if that's one of us. But guys, feel free to speak up in the chat, and you might get a shout out. And say hi to each other, and maybe talk about the game a little bit. Might be a good idea. But yeah, super excited to get into it.
All right, so let's go ahead and introduce the players. We got up here on the, well, upper right-hand side here, red Terran player. Ladies and gentlemen, it is BrAvO.
And his opponent in the bottom left, blue Terran player from Samsung, also same team as BrAvO. He is Reality. Okay. So the first question we always ask, I mean, this is a large map, and these guys have a backdoor expansion, so how fast are they going to get that? Are they going to try to get a unit out first, like a Reaper, and then expand? Or are we going to see a faster expansion? And I'm not too surprised at all to see BrAvO go for a really fast command center. It looks like Reality is going to go for a Reaper opening, and he'll be dropping his command center very, very soon.
Yeah, one thing to remember here in Legacy is you start off with so much more as far as workers, as far as mining. And with that, you can absolutely just afford to get out that early CC. it's not as risky as it was in Heart of the Swarm, even in TvT. And we see both players going for that, like you said, Axeltoss, Reality going for the unit first, but not going to make too much more of a difference here.
Yeah, he's going to send that. Well, actually, he's... Okay, I was confused because his rally was back inside his base. He switched the rally outside his base, so he's actually not going to go across the map. He's just going to patrol. And this is because he wants to get the first shot off on his opponent's Reaper. This is an interesting decision. Obviously, he could technically afford to go across the map and see if he can sneak in his opponent's base, but he doesn't want to risk the fact of his opponent's getting his Reaper inside. So he's just going to patrol that and just play safe with that first Reaper. Also, getting a second Reaper on the map and immediately going for double gas, as well as BrAvO. So both these players immediately going for double gas. Really want to get their tech underway, really want to get into their factory as fast as possible, and then we get to see how fast they're going to get their starport out, or we're going to see Banshees early on, but both these guys content with going for, obviously, the very early expansions, getting their economy up and running, but now switching over to the heavy tech.
Well, and that second Reaper popping out is cue for Reality to start going on the offensive as opposed to just having a patrolling defensive Reaper. So he's going to move his way into BrAvO's main base and will be met by a couple Marines here, but nothing's changed in Legacy of the fact that 2 Reapers are going to outdo 2 Marines, and we're going to see pretty much both get taken out. Reality keeping that second one alive.
It's actually pretty awkward. All the Marines are gone, so there's actually no units on the map here for BrAvO. His reactor was being made out of his barracks, so he wasn't really making any units. I mean, now he can make 2 Marines at a time, but he hasn't even queued those up yet. Looks like he's going to start with the Hellion out of the factory. So once that Hellion gets out, he'll have to pull some SCVs. Now the trick is BrAvO needs to try to keep as many workers alive as possible to try to negate this damage. And so far, 4 workers killed for Reality, which is okay. It's not game-breaking by any means. Both Reapers gone. Units lost. Should be pretty similar, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely not game-breaking when you consider just how much was invested to get those 2 Reapers out. Remember, Reality did expand a little after BrAvO did. So it is kind of a wash at that point. And the Hellions, of course, do, bid Reality's Reapers farewell. But now Reality has some Hellions out of his own here. So we might see a clash soon between the Hellions of both players.
Yeah, of course, BrAvO hasn't actually done any scouting yet. Oh, the Hellion actually sneaks inside. Wow, that's pretty lucky for BrAvO. So he's going to get inside his opponent's main base, got in the natural expansion. Now, if there's anything good here for Reality, at least the Hellion's going to die, but you generally don't want that Hellion to scoot on by and see everything you're doing. So BrAvO's going to have a very good idea of what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, the information is much, much more valuable than the 100 minerals spent on that Hellion here. But we're going to see BrAvO still continue with his plan for now. Both players starting to take their thirds here. Yes, I know it's 440, but that is what Legacy is all about, getting out those expansions quick. We have dueling air units crossing paths there in the center of the map.
I thought he saw it.
We're going to see it drop first from Reality's Hellions.
I thought the Liberator would turn around there. Because I think he did see the medevac, but he's going to keep going to his opponent's base. No, now he's turning around. Oh, a little bit of indecision. He's going to stay going towards his opponent's base. He's going to rely on the Marines back home and a Cyclone there to try to deal with these Hellions. And the medevac should be able to take down that medevac. And yes, he does with that Cyclone. 4 Hellions going to stay alive. Their main goal here, let's kill as many SUVs as possible. And they're doing a pretty good job. BrAvO's down to 32 workers to 43. 14 workers killed. And he's probably going to get a couple more here before the Hellions get taken out. No, still 14 workers killed, but that's a pretty darn good amount. In reality, is now up 62 to 50 in supply, up 45 to 33 in workers. He's going to be super happy with how that went.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is pretty devastating for BrAvO here, who, like you said, he didn't turn around the Liberator, ended up bringing it back anyways, and that still didn't help his cause. So, I mean, to be down by this many workers at this point in the game, he's going to have some catching up to do. In reality, he has to be very satisfied with how that went.
Yeah, a bit unlucky, I suppose. He could have caught the medevac earlier with the Liberator. I mean, he flew right by it. And he also could have just continued with the Liberator across the map, because I think... I'm not sure how big of a difference it would have had back home, considering where he was. And he could have tried to kill a lot of SUVs on the other side. But as it stands, he's got to deal with the hand he's dealt here and try to catch up. It's going to be hard, though, because Reality already has that third base on the ground. He's already getting his siege tank count up. But now we're going to see the Liberator try to do some damage on the other side of the map, and we'll have to see how long he can keep that guy alive. Of course, I think there was a Viking on the map. But is it flying away? Well, I thought there was a Viking. Oh yeah, there's 2 Vikings out from Reality. They're trying to track that Liberator down. But as it stands, I think Reality is still with a comfortable lead. We really need to see BrAvO take that third as fast as he can. There we go. I was wondering why he hadn't done it yet. But at this point, A big thing to think about is the tank count, as is always the case in TvTs. And right now, Reality up 3-1 in that
Yeah,
count.
I mean,
So
BrAvO with that Liberator didn't do exactly the counter damage he needed. He knows that he has to do something to keep Reality from running away from this one. So he's going to go ahead and send out a group of units right now over to that third of Reality and to see if he can go ahead and try to even up the odds. So it's just going to be some Marauders and Marines. They're going to go after the back rocks. No medevacs with this army just yet, but they can come a little later as these rocks are going to be the primary target first here. And let's see if BrAvO can get some work done here. But it's going to be hard because Reality does realize that there is a group of units taking out those rocks, so tanks are going to siege up on the high ground. Don't really see how BrAvo's going to be able to move his way in here. Can't even finish up the rocks.
yeah, I mean, at this point, I might just try to finish off those rocks with like 2 Marauders. I think the Marauders can stay out of range, just to have that threat open a little bit later. But obviously, Reality able to anticipate that that's happening. I think actually, does the gas automatically see those rocks? Do you know? I wonder. At the third, I'm pretty sure it does.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there are some cases where it's like, all right, I better make sure I have a supply depot over there. But in this case, it's like, all right, as long as you take your gases at the third, you're going to be able to keep a close eye on those rocks. So I don't necessarily expect BrAvO was expecting to get any big exchanges happening there, just trying to see if his opponent was staying honest. Ultimately, Reality able to stay on top of that, and BrAvO is going to have to get a little bit more crafty than that to try to close this advantage that his opponent has. But both armies are on the map here, so we're gonna have to see how they maneuver. I don't know if Reality sees his opponent. I don't know if Reality knows his opponent's there. He might though. I don't know how though.
It looks like he's turning around, so
Yeah, I'm not sure how he saw that. Maybe the Marine on the right saw it somehow.
Or
sure.
maybe since they're both in the same team house, perhaps. I don't know. But, we're gonna Reality siege up here, and way before BrAvO did. This is such a one-sided affair. My goodness, almost everything cleaned up by Reality. BrAvO lifts away the few units he has, and now he's down by over 30, almost 40 supply. And things just keep getting better here for the Blue Terran.
Yeah, Reality was actually able to take BrAvO off guard there, I think. Able to get his tanks into position a little bit faster, able to get a nice split on his units, and certainly able to come out on top of that engagement. 52 units lost to 34 in favor of Reality, and he's still up 159 to 129 in the supply count. Now, this is TvT, so the defender's advantage is pretty huge. However, there are siege tanks can be picked up by medevacs, so it's negated a little bit. But even so, there's still a chance here for BrAvO, certainly. There goes the scan from Reality, looking to do an engagement, speeding those medevacs forward, dropping the tanks, and now he's stimming the Marines up the ramp, and he's just going to clean this up. There's nothing BrAvO can do. He has to back up, redeploy those tanks, but this is so many units from Reality, now up pretty much by 100% in that army tab, 105 to 49, and now trying to get a good position at the bottom of this ramp. Still, so many of those siege tanks alive, and I think this is going to be the end of game 1 here for BrAvO.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that BrAvO had defender's advantage didn't matter there. GG. And Reality is going to take game number 1 here in this best of 5.
Yeah, a lot of that had to do with the early aggression, I think. The Hellions that were dropped basically set the tone for the remainder of the match there. I think it was like 14 workers killed to 0 at that point. Yeah. BrAvO had a few moments where he was trying to get across the map to do a lot of damage or to do some sort of economic damage to try to slow Reality down a little bit, but just Reality was just a little bit faster in getting his units across the map than doing his own harassment. So I think Reality also was like double upgrading and his opponent wasn't. So that's going to have an impact too. But ultimately, it is a best of 5, so there's room for BrAvO to come back, certainly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if there's anything we know here at Team Gravity Fight Night, it's that their comebacks are always real. So we'll just have to see in game 2 if BrAvO can rally. So we're going to get that set up. But before then, I just want to talk about a couple of partners that we are working with here at Team Gravity to bring another Fight Night Tournament of Champions to you guys. Without these people, would not be possible here. $500 prize pool does take a lot of collaboration here. So, of course, as you guys know, we are watching this on azubu.tv. Please make your way over here, azubu.tv/Team Gravity, if you are watching this on the Team Liquid stream, as there's a chat going on right now. A lot of people having fun discussing these games and whatnot. And, of course, Azubu, our biggest partner here. But also, can't forget about Spawning Tool, which is that website where you can Check out lots of replays from professional players, just like the four you're going to see here today. These are the players that will have a lot of their replays uploaded. You can basically categorize all of them, look at the different stats for their strategies, win rates, and all these things. It's not just a site where you upload and save replays. You can use it as a tool to learn about new strategies, especially for Legacy of the Void. And of course, we have our second partner in OFU, always a guy who's been extremely supportive of Team Gravity and Fight Night, so big thanks to him and shout out as well. And he's actually in the chat right now, so you guys can give him a shout out too there if you want.
Cool. Yeah, huge thanks to all the sponsors that make this possible, and to Droopy, one of the casters. Very handsome man.
You too as well. Don't
Thanks,
sell
man.
yourself short there.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Well deserved. All right, so game number 2, guys, on Olrena. And this is going to be the Red Terran spawning on the lower left-hand side here. Representing Samsung Galaxy, folks. It is the guy currently up 1-0. It is Reality.
And they switch colors? I think they switch colors. The jerks. His opponent in the top left-hand location, currently down 0-1. Your blue Terran player, BrAvO. And this is an interesting map, I think. It reminds me of... Was it Scrap Station? Was that the map? Is that the map I'm thinking of? Was Scrap Station even Heart of the Swarm? This is like might be too old school.
Wings. Vintage.
Yeah,
Wings.
it was Wings Liberty map where it's pretty much the same locations. Top left, bottom left, and then you have a bunch of airspace in between. And then, of course, to access your opponent, you have to go through the middle. And it's interesting because I think this map is really interesting, actually, because they have the very narrow corridors leading to your opponent's side of the map. Now, you can go that way. Obviously, it's you're funneling yourself if you go that way, but it's the quickest way to go. If you want to not funnel yourself as much, you have to go through destructible rocks, or you can go all the way across the map, which I have never seen anyone do, and engage that way. But you're pretty much expanding kind of away from your opponent in the same direction. So I feel like generally this is receptive to longer games, but obviously you got to be super aware of airplay, drop play, because your opponent's main is a stone's throw away from you by the air. So gotta keep that in mind. And with that in mind, you might see some starport openings, which I think we're going to see here, because we don't see any command centers going down. Of course, last game they were way across the map from each other, so we saw the very fast expansions. But here we see BrAvO going directly into starport with the tech lab on there, so you got to think that's going to be Banshee. And on the other side, I don't actually see a Stargate, or excuse me, a starport from Reality. So we'll see what he has in mind.
Yeah, we'll see if Reality goes from some early mech play. Yeah, there it is. And, well, with that Cyclone coming out, it's going to be interesting. It's going to get really hairy very early between these two players. It's interesting, too, because, you know, being this map, this is a different map. Both guys playing a similar style in the sense that they are on one base. Have to wonder, you know, if there's a little bit of collaboration as far as practicing and whatnot, given that they're on the same team. But that's it. They're not doing the same exact strategy as you pointed out, Axeltoss. We're not seeing a starport from Reality. And he is going to expand first here, in fact. So we'll see. There's going to be a Banshee coming out here for BrAvO very soon. Going to have Cloak as well. So he's going to go through the sky here, try to get some harassment in on Reality. Whereas Reality going to go ahead and just send out this one Cyclone over, see how much damage he can do.
Yeah, Cyclones are pretty powerful in the early game. The first time I really experienced them, I was playing Protoss. Uh-oh. Well, that would have mind saying LOL. And my
So
point
much
is
for that.
my point has self-destructed as well, but I'll tell my Protoss story anyway. It was PvT and the guy had a Cyclone. I'm like, oh, that's such a cute unit. And then, like, 2 seconds later, my Mothership Core was dead and my Sentry was dead, and I subsequently lost the game. So they can be pretty powerful early if you handle them correctly. Unfortunately, Reality running right into a Widowmine, which is not so fun. But he should be able to deal with this Banshee okay, provided he has a scan. And I think he does have a scan available on that first command center, so this shouldn't be too big of a problem, hopefully, for him.
Yeah, definitely has a scan, and there is a... actually, that Raven is BrAvO, so that's not going to help Reality. But Reality should be ready to go ahead and defend that with the Marines as well.
Unless he drops a mule right now. Okay, he's not.
I would
All right,
actually laugh if he
that would
did
be
that.
pretty funny. I'd be a little sad
Yeah.
for reality. But anyway, the cloak banshee coming in, just seeing what's going on, and immediately running away, not firing a shot yet. Peaceful, a peaceful banshee. You don't see that. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're BrAvO, like obviously trying to get damage would be amazing. But if you can't do it, it's not the end of the world. Given that, well, reality's attempt at doing it was a complete failure. So for him, he's just gonna, you know, take the battles that he can win here, and this supply depot is definitely gonna be a battle he can win. Oh, maybe not.
See, look how. I mean, they shoot pretty quickly. Like they can get
They
damage
do.
done. So the Banshee going to be very sad, not able to kill this supply depot, so he's going to back out of there. Meanwhile, Reality able to secure that natural expansion. On the other side of the map, BrAvO's second orbital command is getting finished as well. So we're going to be very even, actually, pretty much in every facet of the game here. Economically, production-wise, they all have pretty much the same amount of buildings. 1 starport, 1 factory, 1 barracks. They have yet to add on anything there. Same amount of units as well, pretty much. Except 2 tanks out for BrAvO. And BrAvO has a Raven as well, which is kind of cool. We'll see how useful and effective that becomes as this game continues forward. And of course, the Banshee stayed alive, but he's way on the right side of the map, doing trying to see if there's any hidden bases or trying to escape from the battle. Because why are people so violent? Why can't we just have peace? But looks like he will make his way back. Might be a fight here in the middle of the map. Actually, a couple auto turrets going down. The Raven depleted in a matter of seconds, but it looks like BrAvO should have the higher. Should have the advantage here, and he's going to continue pushing forward. I would love to see Reality siege up that tank, but he's got to be careful because the Marines can kill it pretty quickly. He's going to siege it up, turn those Marines around, and he's going to have to pull some SCVs, so Reality not expecting this amount of aggression so early on. And the Banshee isn't even here. Imagine if the Banshee was here. It could be almost game over, but BrAvO, 2 tanks still alive, and Reality is the guy who's in trouble in this game too.
Yeah, definitely a lot lost here for Reality, losing some SCVs now as well. But he should be able to hold this, given that he does have Defender's advantage. Obviously, the Cyclone and the tank are out now, but losing the Cyclone certainly doesn't help. But Reality will be able to stabilize in a bit here as BrAvO's backing off. But, man, look at the damage done. I mean, we're talking about 6 worker lead here for BrAvO now, as well as just an overall supply lead of 10. So, I mean, not huge, not something that Reality can't come back from, like the kind of damage he did to BrAvO last game. But definitely BrAvO moving into the mid-game here is going to have the upper hand.
Yeah, and it's great because last game I think he did get a bit unlucky with how the early game unfolded. So now he can really stretch his muscles, and we'll see what happens here as these guys are much more evenly matched heading into the mid-game. In reality, a little bit on the back foot, just a little bit, but he can certainly recover. Adding 2 gases to his natural expansion. 2 gases already up and running here for BrAvO on his side of the map. Meanwhile, we talked about the airspace and how there's not a lot of it. So we're going to see Reality try to take advantage of this, sending 2 Vikings across to scout for potential missile turrets, to scout for enemy Vikings. But BrAvO doing good things here. He's setting up his tanks kind of in a defensive position. Does he have an engineering bay? No. Oh, he does have an engineering bay, but no missile turrets going down. Oh, and the Widow Mine's there. That's actually a great shot from that Widow Mine. And BrAvO should be able to deal with this without too much trouble. Yeah, Reality's going to have to back up. Really good defense there from BrAvO. In Reality, trying to bring it back a little bit, but arguably hurt himself a little bit with that. Now down even more supply.
Yeah, it was a good try, but ultimately BrAvO did have all of his units really a short distance away, so it wasn't too hard to deal with that and send it away. But at least Reality did keep them alive. That's a very important thing. As you can see, that medevac right there, very low on health. And so, you know, just got to keep trying here in TvT. You just got to keep looking for ways to do damage to your opponent and not let yourself be in a position where you're kind of blind and get boxed in, which is really the name of the game here. BrAvO now starting to push that again through that choke point. And when you make this push through the center, it's so important to have that tower, which both guys are actually fairly good about. They make sure they clear out that tower first, or at least see if they can before moving across, because otherwise your opponent will just have their eye on you the whole time. And
Yeah, a couple things I'm surprised about. Reality, I guess it makes sense. He's sticking to the high ground. He doesn't want to go to the low ground, because what he could do, in theory, is kind of try to create a concave, I suppose, around this choke point with siege tanks. And he's kind of doing that like 1/4 of the way with 2 tanks on the left-hand side. But it looks like he wants to stay on the high ground, doesn't want to move to the low ground just yet. And I'm a little bit surprised that BrAvO isn't deciding to go through the rocks at the top, because this is risky if he tries to engage through this little choke point. So we'll see if he changes his mind, but no, it looks like he's going to press the issue. Now, he does have these medevacs, so he could just lift and drop on the other side of that, and that's what he's going to do. So we'll have to see how BrAvO handles this. It's going to be very important. He does it correctly.
BrAvO's going to siege up a little further out, semi-contain here, I suppose, as a Reality still going to be able to take that third base here. We are going to see one Marine try to deny it. No, not going to happen here. And Reality's still safe for now, but both players are definitely dropping scans, trying to angle themselves in better positions here. And BrAvO still looking for a way to get in. Not quite going to find it just yet.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's a bit of a corner that's being cut here by Reality. You can see his third base, it's down, and it's mining. And BrAvO's, his third command center just now finished. So Reality trying to, I guess, close the distance by getting that third base a little bit faster. And I think BrAvO right here is like, all right, I got to abuse it somehow. It has to happen. I have to take advantage of the fact that he got this third so quickly. But Reality's doing a great job positioning his tanks in a situation where BrAvO just doesn't feel comfortable engaging. However, it looks like he is going to swing some units over the left-hand side, dropping those siege tanks in his opponent's natural expansion. They're going to be swooped upon by those Marines from Reality, and I think Reality's going to deal with that no problem whatsoever, so BrAvo's going to have to pick up and get out of there. So Reality did a great job there, holding that third and defending that drop. Questionable decision there from Reality, excuse me, from BrAvO, dropping that location. I mean, there's not really any openings in the main base, so I guess he thought that's the only thing he could do. But Reality going to be super happy with that. He's kind of evening up the supply, even getting ahead a bit in workers and supply. So this might be changing the game quite a bit. Reality jumping in, trying to engage once again, dropping tanks and Marines in front of those tanks from his opponent. And it looks like he's going to come out on top. He's able to clear out BrAvO from this location. BrAvo's going to have to tuck his tail a bit and return home. A game where it looked like he was ahead by a sizable amount. Now he's going to have to backpedal.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole positioning of the last several minutes for BrAvO was very questionable. I mean, you had half the army sitting outside in a contain of sorts, and then the other half, you know, you go for a gutsy drop, doom drop. In Reality, all of his units are together. I mean, it's not hard for him to just bring his whole army over to destroy your doom drop, and that's exactly what happened here. And you know, I understand obviously not going for the main, as you said, Axeltoss. You know, there's a couple missile turrets, 3 actually.
Even so, I mean, you can kind of sprint over them if you want.
Yeah, I mean, he could have tried, but then again, he could have just backed off and just stayed content with the contain. I mean, you were ahead.
Yep. Sure.
And just, you know, go back in mine and just chill for a little bit. I mean, that was just a little too aggressive by BrAvO, and now he's paying the price down by almost 30 supply.
And his main base is mined out, and I was surprised. Like, it's 12 minutes and 20 seconds, and he's just now getting his orbital command. Now, it is at the gold, so that's a good way to try to catch back up. But it's a situation where Reality's like, all right, I got to get, let's see if that third is running, up and running. And Reality's like, well, there's nothing here. I mean, he's dropped at the top middle, sees nothing. He's like, wait a second. Your main base must be mined out. What's going on here, man? Where's your third? So he might be able to catch on to the fact that his opponent did take the gold, and that's going to be very hard to defend for BrAvO, but he's going to bring some Marines over there. So if it is spotted, he'll be fine, and there goes a drop to that middle location. So that's going to be assaulted. Meanwhile, the drop at the top side of the map is going to be attacking. Oh my gosh, took out 2 tanks. Reality just took out 2 tanks on the top side of the map. That is brilliant for him, and backing up immediately. And now a situation where BrAvO was up 20 supply at one point. He's now down 30 supply. Down in workers too. Reality looking pretty darn good in this game.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I mean, he was a little behind there in the mid-game, but now he's definitely pulled ahead by far, 52 workers to 45. And seems to be just sort of, you know, giving BrAvO problems here at every single turn, whether it's trying to take an expansion, whether it's trying to go for these doom drops. I mean, Reality here is able to just clean everything up, and it's pretty one-sided as well. So we're seeing his lead still at 30 plus. He's now going to try to move across the map over to that center here.
Yeah, take out the rocks. It's a good decision, I think. It's a bit interesting though. He's letting his opponent secure that gold. I'm a bit surprised by that, because I feel like if he just pretty much took all his medevacs and just dropped on that location, he could just wipe out everything there. But instead, I guess maybe he realizes that his opponent has a lot of army over there, so he's going to try to attack on a different side of the map. And there's only 2 siege tanks over here. 2 siege tanks versus, I think that's 5 siege tanks from Reality. So we'll have to see how this goes, and I think it's pretty easy to guess. Marines. Reality, he's going to be cleaning up his opponent. There's the GG. Great GG. Push there into his opponent's natural expansion, and he's going to go up 2-0.
2-0 indeed. Reality so far over his teammate BrAvO, and well, remember this is a best of 5, so BrAvO still has one chance. It is match point now, and well, like I said before on Team Gravity, comebacks are very, very possible, and let's see if BrAvO can make it happen. He's gonna have to win from here on out if he wants to, win some bragging rights for that team house later on. But yeah, Reality really strong so far, Axel Toss.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. A part of me was thinking, all right, we have a series going here. After BrAvO
Yeah.
seemed like he took like a pretty early lead there. But Reality able to close that gap. I love how quickly he took that third. I'm a big fan of players who really are aggressive about taking expansions. It really does a lot for your economy, like so much. And if you can get it fast enough, you can really surge in that production, especially in TvT. I think it's super important.
Yeah.
Even when you're a little vulnerable, like still being brave enough to go take that third base, realizing, okay, I kind of have to do this if I want to stick around. And I think that was the big point of this game there. Reality taking that faster third, even though he was vulnerable, but then able to hold off the impending attacks from BrAvO. So based on what I've seen, I see no reason. I have no reason to doubt Reality. We'll take a 3-0 here. I really think he has shown that he's the better player in those 2 games, but who knows? Maybe BrAvO can come up with something special in this game 3.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to happen on Dust Towers as well. And something interesting to note, it appears that BrAvO is Platinum on KR, for what it's worth. In Reality is Masters. Again,
Hey,
probably
that makes
doesn't
me feel
mean much.
better. I'm Platinum on North America, so.
Oh, well, hey. Like when BrAvO wasn't in chat, we should have just had you play Reality.
Right? That would have gone over
Oh, man.
poorly. I've been playing random. I played Protoss all the time, but I'm just having fun, learning the game, just chilling. So that's the explanation for my platinum. I'm sticking to
take it.
Thanks, man.
All right, so we have here red player spawning on the top side of Dust Towers. He is a Terran player representing Samsung Galaxy. He is currently up 2-0 and going to look to try to pitch a shutout here. It is Reality.
His opponent in the bottom side of Dusk Towers is the blue Terran player who has some work to do. He's got to win 3 in a row here to advance to the finals of our Tournament of Champions, I think number 5. He is BrAvO. Of course, both these players from Samsung Con, or I guess Samsung Galaxy, now they're called. They used to be called Samsung Con.
Yeah, it used to be Samsung Con, and then they said, well, we have this phone called the Galaxy, so let's promote it some more. And then I guess there's a name change.
As a person who worked for Samsung last weekend,
That's right.
I gotta say, yeah, go Samsung. They actually let me use one. They didn't give me a phone. They gave me some stuff, but they didn't give me a phone. They let me use one during the booth to actually tweet and stuff. So that was cool.
That is pretty
Samsung.
nice. It's too
I
bad
think-
I didn't have time to check out the booths last week, but
Yeah, man.
There's always
What's
next
up
year.
with that? Come on, gotta support StarCraft wherever it is.
yeah, in the arena where the games are actually being played.
Hey, there's downtime between those games. There's
You're right.
downtime.
That's true. That's true. I'm
Why
trying
would you
to come up with
not
excuses
want
here.
free T-shirts, free 64 gigabyte flash? Anyway, that weekend's over. I felt like a broken record. It was so it was literally nonstop talking for 10 hours both days. So, I love you, Samsung, but I don't really want to talk about your stuff right now. I want to give some shout outs to people in the chat. There's an interesting discussion right now. And if you're listening and you're not in the chat, go hang out, man. We have fun in there. Of course, that's zubu.tv/teamgravity. Join the chat. Guy named Koi Pyrus is talking about stuff, and he says PvP is so hard in Legacy of the Void, and that's a little bit confusing to me because wouldn't that apply to both sides? So it's like if PvP is hard, wouldn't it be hard for the other person, and wouldn't that make it equally as hard if it's hard for both sides? Am I like I'm trying to break that down logically. Like I don't know if I'm wrong there, but I just wanted to tease Koi Paris a little bit. I would have typed that all out, but since I have a voice here, I'm gonna speak to the chat.
It depends. Difficult in what way, I suppose, right? Because
I think he's comparing it to Heart of the Swarm.
oh, well, maybe it's something like PvP is even harder to read in Legacy, or it's harder to know what your opponent's up to. Which, yeah, I guess, would make sense. But yeah, if he's comparing it to Heart of the Swarm, then I think that there could be a fair argument for that. So
Yeah, the first guy that went, I hear what he's talking. Oh, we do have an attack actually happening. 4
Yeah.
Marines, not much of an attack, more of a playful. Hello, are you here on the map? A Widow Mine is there. Is he gonna try to scan or something and get that? That'd be. I don't know if would I agree with that? I don't know. He definitely sees it. He's definitely avoiding it.
He is,
But reality,
unlike last time, right?
right? And Cyclone's there. That could probably kill the Banshee. And he's gonna target it down. He does get the Banshee, and if that gets out alive, okay, was that worth it?
So
I don't know if that was worth it.
It's more expensive for reality, that trade right there. But
Right.
I will say this is kind of like the opening for last game, except both the Banshee and the Cyclone died. So this is kind of an improvement for reality in a sense, instead of just losing it for nothing. But
Sure. Well, it's another situation where I feel like BrAvO got the better end of that deal, but
still, yes.
can he
Yes.
carry that over? Ooh, I love this. Look at that, taking a really fast third. I was just talking about that. That's one way to do it. I feel like that could work out too, because we haven't seen reality like just stock up on production on 2 bases and try to attack. He always goes. It seems like he's been going for 3 bases in a fair amount of time. So I really love this decision from BrAvO after eliminating all of his opponent's units, immediately dropping that third. I think that was a really cool heads up move. What's going to be important here is negating the Cloak Banshee play, which is incoming.
Yeah, you could say BrAvO is adjusting too in this game number 3, because in both the previous games we saw reality expand sooner, whether it was the natural in game 1 or whether it was the third in game 2. And both times reality really benefited from it. So here we see BrAvO actually taking the lead here as far as economy. But like you said, it is pending the damage that could potentially be done by this Banshee. So
Yeah,
BrAvO will have to be careful here.
He doesn't have an engineering bay. I'm a little scared. Okay, it's on the way. Is it on the way? Is that an engineering bay?
The Banshee or the engineer?
Yes. Okay, BrAvO does have an engineering bay on the way, but okay, he does have a scan. Marines are there in place. Does he have any more scans? Yes, he does. Okay, this shouldn't be that bad. Scan. He should scan, and he should kill it. Nice. Okay, good job, BrAvO. That was great.
BrAvO.
And BrAvO, well done. BrAvO, BrAvO. What's very important there too is that BrAvO did not spot. Excuse me, reality did not spot his opponent's third. So that's a situation where you see the third, you're like, oh crap, I better get up and running. However, he does have a command center on the way, about to finish, so he might be able to guess that it's there. Actually, he's just about to spot it. No, he's not. Oh my gosh, the Cloak Banshee almost saw it, but instead, going down to his opponent's natural expansion, there's a turret there, tantalizingly out of range. I don't know if that's the term. It is now. But there's a Viking there, and he could scan and try to take that out, but gonna leave it alive for now. But reality's still trying to do some damage with these Banshees.
And reality was able to repel BrAvO's drop there, so well done on his part. And this Banshee's doing a lot of damage. I think, you know, the drop there by BrAvO was a little distracting for him, so he couldn't take out this Banshee sooner, even though he had the tools to do so at his natural. And because of that, he's lost 6 workers to it. So really something that probably he wouldn't have liked to happen there. And we're going to see here an attempt from BrAvO to push up the ramp and try to get some counter damage done.
Siege. Why isn't he sieging? I was just like, all right, I don't even need to. There's a Cyclone coming in, and this is just a lot of stuff from BrAvO. That tank wishing he had a savior in the form of a medevac, but it is not there to help him out. And now I would siege. There we go. BrAvO going to siege underneath this ramp. And he's not reinforcing this. He doesn't have any more units coming across the map here, so we'll see if he tries to do anything crafty, like pick up the tanks, drop them somewhere else. Maybe he can take him to that natural, actually, and do some damage to that SCV line. Actually, that'd be really cool to see. But, of course, he doesn't know if there's a turret there, if there's any form of defense there, so he's not going to do that just yet. But this is pretty good for BrAvO. I mean, he's got his third down, and he's denying his opponent's third, and now reality realizing the potential vulnerability at the natural, and he's going to send the tank over there. But reality just can't engage this efficiently, so he's just not going to engage it at all and just going to pull back his buildings.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely bring up an interesting opportunity as far as BrAvO just lifting up those siege tanks into the natural. But for him, he's thinking, okay, I'm ahead. I'm on 3 base compared to reality's 2. I don't need to, do anything too risky here. Let's just keep this contained going. The irony is, though, his SCV production has left a little to be desired, because he's actually behind in workers, was by even more 60 seconds ago. And he just kind of stopped producing SCVs for a very long time, even though he was on 3 earlier bases. So actually reality's ahead of him right now. as far as worker count. But
Yeah.
we're starting to see some reinforcements come over here for BrAvO. In the meantime, there is a drop heading to BrAvO's third from Reality, so we'll see how much this gets done. There's absolutely nothing here to stop this, so a lot of SCVs are going to go down here, and a lot of counter damage going on both ends right now.
Yeah, and BrAvO is going to be even more aggressive, knowing his opponent is taking some units to the bottom side of the map, going to bring his tanks into the main. SCV is going to have to be pulled to try to deal with this, but does BrAvO have enough here to just close this out right now? 96 to 77 is the supply, 53 to 34 in the army. Again, we have 4 Marines and a medevac across the map, so that's not going to be helpful in these altercations happening at the top right, and BrAvO getting certainly a lot of damage done, but I'm not sure he has quite enough to end it right now.
Well, he still had these 2 tanks on the low ground, still able to do damage.
Ooh, this is cool.
Reality,
This is really cool. I love this.
He's going to drop right on top, and his tanks will have the advantage there since they are unsieged.
Yes. And that's such
Reality,
that's such a good point too, and important to emphasize. Siege tanks, actually, there's a delay before they can attack. However, regular tanks, there's no delay, so you can understand how much better the unsieged tanks can do in like micro situations, I guess, when it's only tanks. So really cool play there by Reality to clean that up, lessen the damage. BrAvO's gonna have to back up, wait for reinforcements, but he's not done being aggressive by any stretch of the imagination. Coming across the map again with Marines and tanks, his opponent still doesn't have a third base, and this is gonna start getting problematic because the main base is about to get mined out, and the natural is not too far away from getting mined out either. So Reality has to figure out something to break this contain from his opponent. And he's got to do it efficiently too. It's easy to throw away the game if your opponent has position on you with a contain.
Yeah, one thing about BrAvO that I've noticed in these 3 games, he's a very careful player. And so, as you can see right here, he's just going to sit outside for a little bit and make sure that Reality can't get the third. If Reality can't mine from the third, he cannot win this game. It's just that simple. So no need to just YOLO it up that ramp and lose everything here. We're going to see Reality actually be the one to push the envelope now and try to hold this off. Can he do it? Well, he lost all his tanks. So that's GG for him, and BrAvO staving off the 3-0 here. He is back in this one now with the score 2-1 for Reality.
All right, good job, BrAvO.
BrAvO.
BrAvO. Reality tried to break out of that point, but I think the bulk of what happened there was that very early engagement. Actually, was the first domino. Where BrAvO was able to clean it up with relative ease and immediately put down a third base at the third base location. And that just makes everything so much more comfortable. You can drop all your mules there. And as you were saying throughout the game, holding your opponent to 2 bases while you're still on 3 bases, you can stay patient. You can just focus on containing your opponent, don't do anything crazy. Just play it cool. And that's exactly what BrAvO did. And math is math at the end of the day. If you're on 3 bases and your opponent's on 2 bases, you're probably going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened there for BrAvO.
I think the patience is the biggest thing. Because in this game in particular, that third base, you can argue that it didn't really necessarily get BrAvO a better economy, given that, he was very behind on the worker count for a long time. But it's about the psychological effect of it almost. Like, you can see BrAvO not making those, hasty mistakes like he did in game 2 with that Doom drop, right? So, he sits back on 3 base. He feels like he's in a better, stronger position. And because of that, he's able to play a style that's more strategic in the long run. It really worked out for him. So we'll see what happens here in game 4.
Yeah, I enjoyed that game. I'm certainly enjoying the series as we have a 2-1 situation. BrAvO trying to claw his way back. Of course, it's first to 3 wins, best of 5. And Reality having a little bit of trouble closing out his opponent. Cool to see BrAvO coming back, and we'll have to see if he can continue because he has to win 2 more in a row to get to the finals.
Indeed, indeed. So, game 4, guys, is going to be on Prion Terraces. And it's another 2-player map. This time the players seem to be spawning in positions that we're all familiar with. That is the cross position. So we do have here on the upper left-hand side, it is the Red Terran player, currently up 2-1. Can he stop the bleeding and close it out here finally in game 4? For Samsung Galaxy, it is Reality.
And his opponent in the 530 position at the bottom side of the map Your blue Terran player who has to win 2 more here to reach the finals. He's currently down 1-2 against his teammate. Will we be saying bravo for BrAvO? We were able to say it last game. That was fun.
Yes, we're gonna we have to beat that pun, or we have to
Oh yeah,
beat it
absolutely.
to death. Especially if he makes
you
the
brought.
comeback.
I never thought of it. You brought it to my attention. It seems obvious, but it's a delightful pun, and we're going to continue with it until BrAvO loses.
The reality is, he only deserves it if he wins.
Ah, deeper and deeper we go. Wonderful, just wonderful.
Yeah.
So reality actually is opening straight up with the 2 gases. Now this is a little bit surprising to me. I would think a faster expansion wouldn't be a bad thing on this map. But we're not seeing that. However, I think BrAvO might go for the faster expansion, going for a Marine. Oh no, he's going for 2 gases too. Okay, so both these guys going to be staying on one base a little bit. Just want to get some of the juicier production buildings and units on the map before proceeding any further. And this is an interesting map. I've played quite a few games on it. The third base is always like the most awkward thing because the most natural third base you're going to want to take is the gold. But it's hard to be like defensive, I guess, with that gold because it's exposed on 2 sides. You're kind of running into a ramp. Like there's a ramp there that's a little awkward to deal with. It's kind of pretty far away from your main and natural. So we'll have to see if that comes into play. But I do like the map. Prion Terraces. And we have a Reaper from reality. Try to see what's going on. There's 2 Marines saying, "Get out of here! You are not welcome." Throwing a little bomb at them. They go for a joyride. Ooh, and the Reaper gets taken out. Nice. Reality actually able to discover. Yeah. Oh, we saw the buildings. That's okay.
There's a second Reaper on the way as well. So this is almost like game number... Was it game number 1 where he also went for the 2 Reaper opening? I think so. Yeah, and, you know, he didn't really get too much damage done with them. Actually, he did better than he might do here. We'll see.
Well, I think in game 1 they went for a command center really fast too. So
yeah,
the difference is 2 Reapers and straight into tech and just staying one base. But yeah,
last time we had to see BrAvO get the Hellion out before he can hold off the Reapers, but now we're gonna see BrAvO here with just 3 Marines potentially handling it. The charge is proving to be quite annoying for BrAvO, but doesn't do too much damage as you guys can see. I almost wonder too if and that Reaper does end up getting cleaned up. I almost wonder if it's, as a Marine, would I actually enjoy getting hit by a charge? Yeah, I lose a little bit of life, but man, I mean, that looks like a lot of fun flying in the air.
It does look like fun. However, I think I'd rather be in a medevac going 1,000,000 miles an hour, maybe.
Yeah, but that's so legacy. That's so part of the
taken.
Swarm, though.
Okay, that's true. I guess a unique Legacy of the Void experience.
Right.
Huh, that's a good point. Or maybe you'd like to go into one of those fortified bunkers as a Marine. Would that be fun? I wonder if they have like showers in there and stuff. Like, you don't know how much they upgrade the inside. You see the outside is definitely fortified.
That's true. One day we're gonna have
a question that will be answered in another time, another reality, perhaps.
The next expansion.
I'll give Mr. David a call, Mr. David Kim.
All right.
So how renovated are those bunkers on the inside? We see the outside.
Well,
increase the morale. Increase the morale of your Marines too.
Yeah, it would be funny if they came out with more life or something on them. But this Banshee, is actually trying to reduce the life of these Marines. And with the Raven, obviously we have detection here for BrAvO, but Banshee's being well microed, taking out a lot of Marines, but does end up in red health. We'll have to leave shortly.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. The Raven following the Banshee. I feel like if you just rammed into the Banshee's low enough in health that it might just fall away. But for now, we're gonna stay patient, wait for a Viking. I could imagine would be on the way soon. Yep, there's the Viking just now started. Another Cloak Banshee coming in. The Marine's coming forward. The Raven gonna have to leave his friend to find another friend. And that Banshee is actually doing a decent amount of damage. Marine's trying to take him out, but he will get away. Meanwhile, the other Banshee going to the National, gonna take down the turret. That's a pretty good pickoff. So Reality doing a pretty good job with these Banshees.
Yeah, it looks like BrAvO is returning to the blueprint he had in game number 3 here. Playing a little greedier than Reality, playing more defensively. Reality, obviously, here, been putting on the offensive for just about this entire game, right? First with the Reapers, now with the Banshees. But BrAvO has his third base finishing up, or actually it is finished, and Reality still has yet to get one of his own.
True. Yeah, I like that. Also pretty interesting, Reality has a Widowmine and some patrolling Hellions to see exactly what's going on, and BrAvO running right into a Widowmine. That's no fun. The Hellion going to try to take down those Marines, and will be able to, but the tank able to clean up that Hellion. So it looks like BrAvO is wanting to do some aggression here. Reality, I think he should be fine. I mean, he's only 2 bases. It's not like he has a 3rd base down, so it's not like he's vulnerable. He's got 2 tanks, plenty of Marines. I think BrAvO just going to try to do what he did in, what's the last game? Just trying to, yeah, the last game. Contain his opponent on 2 bases and kind of lock down the 3rd while taking a 3rd of his own. Meanwhile, Banshee on BrAvO's side of the map is going to get taken down. There is one more Banshee. I think it has like 0.1 HP, if that. He's actually getting some SCV kills.
Yeah, this is really good actually for BrAvO. And honestly, I don't really think this should have happened here, in the sense that BrAvO had a smaller army. Reality, obviously, you know, can siege up first, obviously, because he's in the defending position. Yet somehow, BrAvO's able to get in a lot of damage done. He doesn't have to hang out here for very long. He can pack up and leave now, and he can already basically call it a day, because that was a pretty good engagement with those SCVs pulled. And oh, we do see Reality taking out a couple more tanks here. So yeah, definitely BrAvO needs to go ahead and back off, not overstay his welcome anymore. But yeah, I mean, BrAvO here, he is able to change the deficit of the worker count to just 3. And remember, again, he's on 3 base. He does need to start catching up in the macro, though. Overall, he's actually behind in 20 supply, so he is very vulnerable right now to a counter attack by Reality, which isn't coming. So I guess, as far as BrAvO's concerned, this is good news.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, actually, that he hasn't tried to go drop that orbital on that gold. He's had about 4 minutes to do that if he wanted to, which can be great. You drop that, and then you just drop the mules, and you're getting so much money. Especially if you're behind a little bit. That can be a great way to jumpstart your production. But he's not doing that. He's keeping it up in his main base. And again, that's super curious, because he knows his opponent's kind of playing defensive. He knows his opponent, at least 2 or 3 minutes ago, was in his main and natural trying to prevent from being attacked. So I think BrAvO missing out on an opportunity there, perhaps. And now Reality is like, all right, I got some units here. Let's put them to good use. Looks like 5 tanks, about 20 or so Marines. Upgrades, I think +1 is done. I think, yeah, he has 1 armor on the way. BrAvO's +1 is only halfway done, so Reality does have an upgrade advantage as well on those Marines. And he has certainly a bigger army. 78 army supply to 39. So yeah, this could be pretty dangerous for BrAvO, and Reality might just try to end the game here. So we'll have to see how effective he can be with this push.
Well, BrAvO did just drop the scan. He knows he's coming, so the question now becomes, can BrAvO basically pre-siege before Reality and make sure he can get in just a more superior position? But even then, it's going to be hard, because Reality just has so much right now. He can just stay outside with half his army, drop into the main with the other half, and then BrAvO would be spreading himself thin, trying to just deal with that. So we'll see if that's what Reality is attempting. He does have 2 medevacs with siege tanks picked up. But
and that's the thing too. There's a lot of room in the main to drop. Like, it's so hard to cover all that surface area with defensive units. And BrAvO has to make a decision here. He's behind, so if he puts all of his units in one location, it could be dangerous, because his opponent could just drop somewhere else. So I like what he's doing, actually. He's keeping like 2 tanks in his medevacs just in case there's a drop, and just kind of not making a decision with them just yet, and waiting for his opponent to pick the first pick.
Yeah, so far he was defending his 3rd for a little bit there. We do see actually a drop of a different kind in those auto turrets from the Raven. And they expire a lot faster now, if you guys probably noticed there. Yeah, Doom drop of tanks into the main base, and BrAvO's running all his Marines into it. Not sure if this is going to cut it here, but it's going to be close in a sense that the tanks will go down, but not many Marines left.
That certainly could have been a lot worse for BrAvO. Reality kind of ran all his Marines into a lot of tank shots, and then BrAvO did a good job about stimming the Marines and just targeting down those tanks as fast as he could. So he's going to hold this off, I think. Should be able to. Certainly not going to end the game right here. But Reality still is up in supply, and more importantly, he has that 3rd base dropped at the gold. at the top of the map. So at this point, just doing what damage he can and dropping that command center and moving some SCVs over there. And look at his standing army back home. It's pretty massive. It could have been a lot worse, I think, for BrAvO, but he's able to hold that off.
Yeah, he did hold it off, but you know, if the damage on both sides is fairly equal, that's going to be something Reality will be happy about, because he was already ahead to begin with, and now he's just maintaining that lead. So, and of course, he's been mining at his third longer now, which is pretty ironic given that BrAvO got his third so much sooner. Like you said, he didn't take that gold when he was doing his attack earlier, and because of that, now you know he's behind once more.
I feel like we're about to see a bunch of mules. That's interesting. He dropped his mules off at his natural. I
guess he doesn't want to mine out the gold because the mules don't, you know, provide a greater return on it. But at this point, I mean, he's going to mine out his natural faster. So it's kind of a trade-off you have to make, I guess. Will it matter in the end? It remains to be seen, because Reality right now is moving across with a massive army here. 96 supply to the 70 of BrAvO.
Yeah,
BrAvO with 70, he can still be okay. But again, it's all about positioning here.
It is. TvT, like, that's the thing. I've seen games where Terrans have come back from much more supply than this, because Defender's Advantage is like super big deal in TvT.
Yeah.
You got those tanks, you can decide where they go, you can just protect all your fronts and kind of be okay. And Reality's backing up. He's going to try to swing over to the left-hand side, and I kind of like this from BrAvO. He's actually picking up some Marines and going to try to do a drop, maybe at the gold, maybe at his opponent's main base. But we've only pretty much seen aggression in BrAvO's main and natural expansion, so it's nice to see change of pace here. We're going to see some Marines drop down, go straight for that gold base, and there's not a lot there to defend, and he's got to lift off and get out of there. Meanwhile, we have Reality coming in the bottom left-hand side of the map. He's going to pick up and go to the main. Is he going to just try to swing over to that gold base? Looks like he's going to try to sneak into the main here, and now BrAvO has to make a decision. How does he deal with this attack?
Yeah, well, so far he's happy about what's happened at the third, but back at home, he's going to see his own third carved up right now, as he's got 2 tanks on the low ground against this massive army of Marines. Definitely not going to cut it. The rest of the army is on the high ground in the main base, but BrAvO finding himself in an awkward position. Half the army is not with the other, and because of that, he is seeing both sides get whittled down to a very small amount in comparison to Reality right now, who's more than happy to take out that third base.
Yeah, that was actually pretty phenomenal from Reality. He was hiding everything he was doing. Like, BrAvO couldn't tell if he was going to attack into the main or into the gold base. Also, at the same time, while Reality was doing that, he had a drop going down in the natural of his opponent. So really stretching his opponent out, really stressing his opponent's attention and APM and multitasking ability. And then BrAvO made some mistakes. However, if there is good news for BrAvO, he does still have this drop that's doing quite a bit of damage in his opponent's main base. The orbital in the main actually lifting over to a new base, but BrAvO can track that down. And now it's... obviously, I think Reality is supremely ahead. 113 and 74 in army, 145 and 99 in supply. And BrAvO just doesn't have a third. Maybe he'll lift his main orbital to do what Reality did, but I think BrAvO still has a lot of work to do here. I mean, just the tank count alone is madness. Seven tanks right now to 3 in favor of Reality. So
BrAvO's doing his best to try to be as annoying as he can with that one drop, to buy himself as much time as he can. But again, the ultimate answer has to be for him to break out of that natural, because right now Reality's just sitting outside. I mean, he's playing that waiting game now. I know I'm ahead, so it's kind of up to you to do something about it, not me. And because of that, Reality, he's going to try to, you know, defend home and everything. But as far as making the next move to try to break BrAvO, he doesn't need to. He can just chill out here.
Yep, he's got the third base up and running. The fourth base, too, honestly. Of course, his main lifting off and going down there. So it's the pressure is certainly on BrAvO here to kind of make something happen. And he knows that. So he's picking up 2 medevacs again, kind of sending him over to the right-hand side. But there's 2 Marines there from Reality, so he's going to be able to spot that in a second. Now, the question is, will Reality notice this, and how will he react? Because if you know your opponent, if you know a third of your opponent's army is in medevacs, you can decide to be aggressive and just attack. And look at all these units going to the bottom. Yeah, I think this is definitely Reality's game.
BrAvO, with that counterattack right now, I mean, Reality should have seen it. He did have the tower there, but his units are kind of committed to something he deems more important right now, which is this contain. So he's just going to go ahead and evacuate that fourth base, aka original base. And now Reality's going to move in for the kill. A moving his way in there, dropping the siege tanks. Actually, not even dropping them. One of them was still lifted, but nonetheless, GG. And that will be that. Reality will take the series 3-1. And he is probably turning around in his chair and shaking BrAvO's hand like a gentleman.
Or punching him in the face.
We'll never know. But hey, he is now going to be moving on to the finals. And that means a lot of money, potentially, right? It's a $500 show match. First place gets $300. Second place gets $100. Third and fourth, consolation prize is $50. So, yes, BrAvO will not be empty-handed. So, hey, games well played, but we are going to be seeing Reality there in an epic finals, I'm sure. To determine who the next player is going to be, though, for the finals, we are going to have match number 2, Parting versus Solar.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of wondering. I mean, we're in a new era of StarCraft right now. A new era with Legacy of the Void just coming out recently. Everyone's wondering, all right, who's the king of Legacy? Who's the king of the Void?
King of the Void. I like that.
Right. A lot of people are saying Solar right now based on his absolute dominant performance in Shoutcraft that ended earlier today. For the life of me, I tried to find the bracket, but I'll try to find it in a bit. I'm not sure. Were any of these players also in that? It was Parting in that tournament?
Parting was.
Sure.
Parting lost to Beyond. He never met Solar in that tournament. They were on different legs of the bracket. So this is like that match that never happened.
But Reality was not in that tournament, I think.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay.
The other interesting too is that Parting and Solar played in a fight night about a month ago, and that was also to qualify for the Tournament of Champions. So actually, Parting qualified because he beat Solar. But the thing is, that was HOTS. That wasn't Legacy. So this is like an interesting rematch.
Yeah. Solar was, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11. Doing 11-2 in that tournament. 3-0 over Stork, 4-1 over Bomber, and 4-1 over TUI. So 8-2 in ZVT, and 3-0 in ZVP. So certainly, certainly very good performance. And I'm excited to see if Reality can take him down. But first, he has to go through Parting. Of course, Parting lost by a narrow margin against Beyond, and that was in a TVP. So we haven't necessarily seen too much PvZ from Parting in Legacy of the Void. So, but we get to see that next. Woohoo!
Yep. So before we get to that, though, we're going to move to a very short break. And when we come back, it's going to be a best of 5 between Parting and Solar, guys. Don't go anywhere.